Okay, so at this point, you guys should have already seen part 1 of the Todd, and now you are on to part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, stop being a jerk and go watch it, and stop trying to skip to the end, because this shit's going to be like Inception. Like, I'm just going to confuse the shit out of you. So you better pay attention, because I'm not even sure if I completely wrap my head around this entire thing. Okay, I'm not sure if I have yet, because it's so completely bananas. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys in on the week that I actually moved to Vegas. So the week I moved to Vegas sucked. I hated driving to Vegas. That's going to be just a completely different story, because it was just insane all in itself. So I finally get here anyways, and obviously there was prior shit with me and the Todd. I'm staying at Fitzy's. I'm staying with Fitzy and Phil or whatever. I'm with my sister. Whatever. They all get drunk and pass out at like 10. And I'm still like on switch, like party mode. So I get a text from like Todd, like, hey, you in town, you made it or whatever. I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, like, why don't I come pick you up? I'm like, cool, yeah. It feels like a sneak out, It feels like, because everyone's all passed out and shit. I was like, I feel like I'm being sneaky. So anyways, he comes and picks me up. We go to his house, and he starts making cocktails. Now, his cocktails are like 60% liquor, a splash of something, and then ice. That's your cocktail. It's disgusting. You can barely drink it. But once you start drinking it, and you get used to like the burn and like, not feeling good anymore, you're hammered. You're already just so hammered. So we ended up hooking up, Todd and I, which was fucking the worst idea I've ever had in my life. Worst. I don't care if it's drunk, sober, blackout, unconscious, whatever, subconscious, whatever you want to say. I don't care. It was the worst decision out of all of them. All of them. Worst decision I've ever made in my entire life. Because of these next following stories, you will find out why I feel like, yes, I can't change it, because again, that's what makes me me, but I don't know. It's one of those things where you're like, if you could, would you? And it's like, well, maybe what I am, but yeah, I probably could do without it. So anyways, he was just completely off his mind from the get-go. So I ended up hooking up with him after drinking his death juice concoction, right? Completely blackout. And I wake up and I freak out. Like, I'm flailing arms, flailing legs, screaming, call me a cab, like, screaming. Like I had been kidnapped and I had woken up in a dungeon, strapped down with chains. My freak out probably was 100 times worse than if that would have happened. I was terrified. I don't do that ever. So that sucked for me. That was kind of a low point in my life. He's a coworker, not my type. Already showing signs of like a stage 5 when we were in the car. We were in the car saying, I'm so pretty. And I was like, yeah, I don't care. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this last one's for, but just for being all in all fucking creepy to start with. I should have known better. I should have known better, and you should be like, Heather, you definitely knew better. I'm sure, based on your stories, I'm sure what you would have done is you would have been like, fuck you, guy. You're fucking creepy. Bye. Nope, that's not what I did. Instead, I did the opposite, and just acted like a dumb fuck, which entailed hanging out with him, and I was like, dude, no more hooking up. Bad story. Terrible. Not a good idea. Not a good idea whatsoever. So we ended up, like, still hanging out and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, we can just be cool about it. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, we don't have to be, like, weird or whatever. Like, it happened. It's over. You got your shit going on. I have shit going on. Like, we'll be fine. Okay. Well, the more I hung out with him, he just, I don't even know. At first, it was cool, though. It was like, oh, whatever. And then, like, we kind of kept hooking up. It was, like, a drunk thing. And then it turned into a sober thing. And it was just not a smart, path. It was not a good decision to go with. But it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, dude, it's totally mutual. Totally mutual. Like, you know, I don't want anything from you. At all. Nope, not at all. I just like your company, and that's pretty much about it. Like, I just enjoy people I get along with. And that's what it was at first. And then I was like on the same like token. He's like, yeah, I'm totally cool with it. I'm like, all right. So after like a month or two, we're just hooking up. I was like, oh no, I don't know. We were having a conversation about it, and basically it was a mutual understanding that like if one or the other person hooked up with somebody else, it would be a common courtesy to just be like, hey, I'm hooking up with somebody else. Because to me, that's gross. Like, nope, I'm not doing that. That's weird. I don't care if you do. Nope, I do not care. But, like, personally, I think it's rude to not let somebody know. Especially if you're only, like, friends hooking up on occasion. That's all. So that was like our mutual understanding or whatever. So I ended up making out with somebody else. I was like, yeah, hey, you can probably nip this in the bud because I'm like obviously don't care about your feelings, like whatever. Like I don't think this is gonna work out anymore. So we should probably just go our separate ways. He's like, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So he had a minor freak out, and I was like, all right. Continued it like an asshole.